Hey, good people. Psych Perspectives in the building. I'm out in my backyard. I've been out here for like 45 minutes walking around because during the quarantining and stay at home and coronavirus, COVID-19, I've been at the crib. For one, I was sick and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then we were already told to work from home. Like, we were already told to work from home. So it was crazy. So this upcoming Tuesday will be a month for me. And I'm in Michigan. I'm in a hotbed state. So we're taking it seriously. Now, I'm gonna say this. Some of us are taking it seriously, some of us are not. And they're not for various reasons. It's not all, and I'm not trying to give, excuses, but I realize everyone doesn't have the privilege of having a stay-at-home job. Everyone doesn't have the privilege of having a job in the first place, let alone one that pays them and allows them to stay at home. And we have to really think about that, and also realize that another reason why a lot of people can't stay at home is because of our own privileges. A lot of times, in order for you to have a privilege, unfortunately, in a very jacked up, horrible, messed up way, in order for us to have these privileges, someone has to be beneath us, or has to be sacrificed for the privilege to exist. That's what it basically seems like, right? Because I'm able to stay at home, I'm able to protect myself at a better rate. But my granny still got sick, and she's still sick. I'm feeling way better going into the 4th week. I still have a cough, but I also feel like that could be because I'm back smoking. But I still have a cough, and but I naturally have allergies, right? So that's not new, and I live in Michigan as well. Now, Granny, this will be going into her 3rd week because she got sick like a week after me. And that's what I mean by, everybody's at risk. And really, we don't need anyone to really be out. And if we do got to have people out, it should really, truly only be certain people. And then even those certain people, they should have all of the protective gear. They should have the hazard pay. And then even after this, they should get like a lump sum check, and then they should get 6 months, and I mean it, 6 months of paid time off. And they should have, everyone should have health care. But I'm just being real, But, and of course, blacks, browns, African Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, people of color, POC, people with, any pre-existing health conditions, if you're older, etc., are at risk. And a lot of people then didn't even know they had pre-existing health conditions in America, in the USA, because a lot of us didn't have health insurance, or didn't have quality health insurance, or couldn't afford to go to the doctors. So what preventative care can you get when you don't have the resources to get it? And we're the ones at risk, So, and Granny's 75 and I'm 27. So, and my mom, she's 49, almost 50. My uncle, he's 44, almost 45. And it's just like, you really start realizing, how precious life is, and like how we should have always known how precious life was, but for a lot of us, including myself, we didn't know. And now it's like, bitch, now. So yeah. God, gotta be careful out here And we really have to continue to advocate for each other, because it makes no sense that people don't see the reasons behind why people of color, Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, Samoan, Pacific Asian, lower income, working class, working poor, why the systemic, structural, oppressive policies and laws and way of life and policies that have allowed us to be the ones at risk, and notice, this isn't the first time that this has happened. For a lot of us, our entire lives, we were at risk. We're always at risk. There's always systemic structures set up to keep us down and out, and at risk for various issues, whether it's social, political, spiritual, mental, physical, sexual, whatever it is, there's a risk, and it's higher for you in your group. So, again, y'all, if y'all wash your hands, and wear a mask. And what's really pissing me off about the mask situation is, again, all of the misinformation, man. You don't know who to believe, who to trust, what's valid, what's not biased to one side or the other, which is funny because everyone claims to be moderates and centrists, but yet we don't really have any moderate or centrist, political news or media a lot of times that's giving us all the facts without trying to sway you here or there, and it's just giving you facts, right? That's the problem. That's why I am, be honest, I don't really care for a lot of American media. And then the American media that I do look at, I'm gonna be honest, I want to see people of color, I want to see women, I want to see LGBTQ+, I want to see young folks, I want to see working poor, working class. I want to see a true demographic and not just one particular group only saying this, or, I don't know. I just feel like, so with the mask situation, people are saying, oh, you can just make your own homemade mask, and you can, it can be cloth. And here's the thing. My grandmother is a retired nurse. She retired in 2007. After 40 plus years of service, because she was a nurse, what you would call a certified nursing assistant when she was in college. That's what she did while she was in college. And then she became a nurse because that's what she went to school for, and she worked, she worked in the tuberculosis wards. That was the big issue in the 60s and 70s. They had whole tuberculosis wards. And tuberculosis was killing people left and right, and it still kills people, but not at the rates that it did when it first was a pandemic, right? But my granny, she worked there, and, that's what she did. She was at Flint General Hospital, which is now New Paths in Flint, Michigan. Then Genesis Memorial, which used to exist over there by McLaren Flint on Ballinger Highway in Flint, but that no longer exists. And then she was the first nurses to go over to Genesis Health Regional Park in Grand Blanc, Michigan, which is now Ascension Genesis. But they were the first nurses to go over there, ran ambulatory surgery. So I grew up, and then with my papa, so I grew up, we've always been very in tune with health and like the medical world, because Granny was really, it's her job. And then she came home and talked about it. I remember being at the dinner table and her talking about how they had to, amputate this, or she did a lot of surgeries with eyes and just different stuff as she worked her way through her career. And then the lives that they save. It's crazy the amount of work She did. I mean, she was always on call, always had her scrubs ready, going to work, got her scrubs on. So, but my granny's like, no, you need to wear, everyone needs the N95 mask, because it will protect you up to 95% from viruses and dust and all kinds of other stuff that's in the atmosphere. And it's filtered, and it makes no sense that the frontline workers don't have enough, and it makes no sense that we don't have enough for all of us to use and to have. And that's why when I see people talking, and I'm posting this on YouTube, but when I see people talking about, oh yeah, you can just get your cloth mask, that's not really protecting you. It's not. I'm talking to my granny. I'm looking at other news articles that are coming from health professionals, because I want people to realize this is more than politics. This is a health crisis. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is a global pandemic. So I don't give a fuck who you are standing for politically at this point. If you're not trying to save lives, you're not trying to prevent deaths, then I can't fuck with you. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, neoliberal, moderate, centrist, left-leaning, right-leaning, alt-left, alt-right, midsection. I don't give a good goddamn. It should be about saving lives and protecting people. Geez, what are we doing? So that's why I worry about us, because a lot of us are like, oh, we can just make our own mask and we can reuse them. And then you got people wearing gloves. Yes, you should wear gloves. I do agree. You should wear fucking gloves and wash your hands. However, some of y'all sitting up here eating motherfucking McDonald's fries wearing the gloves. You done went around touching your steering wheel, your keys. You done touched the seat belt. You done went into the grocery store. You done touched the cart. You touching the food. You putting shit on the conveyor belt. Is the conveyor belt clean? And now you go and you get back in your car. You go to McDonald's. You touching the money. The money is, you wearing the gloves, but you touching all this shit. And then you pull out you finally get your fries. And you know how a lot of us are. You feel me? Oh shit, gotta get them fries. Bitches be burning. Oh shit. But you doing that with the gloves on that you done touched everything on. And you eating the fries. Again, the ignorance. And then also the fact that we've never been in these situations, so everybody doesn't really know. But it's like, bro, we got to tell each other. You got to change your gloves just like you got to change your mask. You still got to wash your hands. You still got to disinfect. You still got to sanitize. I just worry about everybody, and then like I said, we're at risk. A lot of us watching my videos are at risk. Most of us are at risk, but some of us are really at risk. And every time you go out, you got to think, you could be getting coronavirus. But then on the flip side, a lot of us, this is what's scary, a lot of us already have coronavirus. We just haven't been tested. A lot of us are asymptomatic, meaning we won't have any symptoms. We won't have any symptoms, or some of us will have mild symptoms, and then in a couple of weeks, such as what happened to me, of course, I feel like that could have just been the regular flu or the regular cold or my allergies, or it could be corona. I don't know, because I was never tested. So, and then I'm looking at how Granny is dealing with this, so, and she's still sick, and I worry about her. So this is why I'm just like, okay, we're going to get through this. But it hits us all individually differently. So that's why I'm like, you don't know. And my granny, I agree with her, and also the health professionals across the country and across the world in different countries globally who are talking and saying, like, this shit is fucking airborne, bro. This is airborne. It's lingering. It's able to stay on surfaces longer. And then, remember how they told us, one 1 to 14 days. Typically after 14 days, you'll know if you'll be finished with COVID. Now it's 1 to 25 days. You know, it keeps getting longer, so you don't know how long you're going to be sick. And then, like, some of us just will have mild symptoms, and then some of us won't have any symptoms, and then some of us are going to fucking die. So it's like, you really don't know. And every time you go out, you keep getting yourself in contact, where if you stay by yourself, that's great. You won't have to get anyone else at your house sick. But anytime you leave, you're still going to get someone else sick, because it is bouncing off all of us. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And then, you know, I see the conspiracy theory out there, and I'm going to be honest. Some of y'all motherfuckers crazy as hell, and I do not agree, and I'm not finna sugarcoat it. But then some of y'all make some very, you know, valid mother points. And then also, there is a thing called history and facts, bro. And historically speaking, governments have done a lot of shitty things to their citizens, to their own people. And then just to go further to the most basic sense is, throughout history, humans have destroyed each other for greed and power. So this is why when we talk about pandemics, this is a global pandemic, and this is a humanitarian issue. You know, as humans, we need to be looking out for each other and not, because at this point we see how things go, man. This shit is traveling around us. Everyone's being hurt in some form or fashion. And this is how things have always been, but because people have been so, you know, divided and conquered for centuries, we never really paid attention to when you hurt, I hurt. You know, okay, we're going to all hurt eventually, and it's going to hurt some worse than others, but we're all going to be fucking hurt. So some of us are going to live through this, some of us are going to die, and then those of us that live are going to have severe psychological mental health issues because we lost loved ones and friends and people that we knew, and we went through this and we saw this and we saw you die. Like, everyone's going to be hurt in some form or fashion. And this is why we need to look out for each other. But anyways, this video is getting long, and I'm clearly back smoking because I'm talking deeper, and yeah. But you can follow me on here, subscribe. I'll have more videos up. We'll have more conversations. Really want to get this podcast started and stop being lazy about it, because, you know, a few of you have asked numerous times, like, hey, should you get a podcast? Or, hey, you've left a video suggestion for me to do, and I just haven't been able to get to it because I was always working like a mad person, overtime, because we're not paid living wages. Anyways, but and the cost of living is high. But I'm gonna try to get that podcast up. I'm gonna put my Cash App, all my information below. And also, I kind of want to start something where, like, we put money in, you know, either every other day or every week, and it's like a pot that goes around to help people in need. That's what I think we should be doing. You know, and paying each other for services, or bartering, doing something, support each other. But anyways, and yes, I haven't really talked about Umar Johnson lately, because I haven't talked about him in like over a month, because it's like there are more important things to be discussing besides him, or just him, for my mindset at this point. Yes, I see he's doing crazy shit, but he's been doing crazy shit. And shout out to Anti-Afros Bengalis for still being on his neck. Shout out to Monty Woodgrain. Shout out to Lynn and Honor. Shout out to, you know, Let's Have Fun with Ian J, the keyboard musician, Creole Doll, Tanya Blueved, Flowers and Jelly. Shout out to all of the anti-Afro fraud warriors. Shout out to Rev G. Shout out to Conscious Energy. Shout out to all of you. Truth Anonymous. Shout out to all of you. But yeah, I just haven't been talking about it because there's just so many other things. Like, I'm worried about my family, my friends, my community, my life, you know, day to day, other people's lives. You know, it's just like, you know, like I said, and I'm in a hotbed. I'm in Michigan, so look at, that's my dog. He chilling. That's the big boy Merce. Sunbathing again. But yeah. And I've really been out here for an hour now, walking around my backyard, because it's like, you cannot. It's crazy just being in the house. It's crazy. But again, you know, videos will be coming. And I talk about other, you know, aspects of my life as well. You know. So, y'all just stay safe. Stay safe.